And welcome back, Mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there and you didn't wander off too far from the TV and made sure that you have a little cup of something warm right next to you because, yes, it is freezing cold out there. And I still can't get over the fact of how bad an idea it was not to wear a warm sweater. But anyway, on that note, Mindsetters, hope you're ready. You've got a pen and pad out and you're ready to make notes because I'm about to hand over to Lou who's going to continue the show. Take it away, Lou.
Perfect. Now, before I carry on, I was just told politely that it's not immigrating or emigrating a party, it's bouncing from one to the other. Ta?
Yes, that's the
So sorry. Bouncing, not immigrating.
that's the cool term
It's
of
the
it.
cool
We're
term.
bouncing the party.
Oh, no. So we bounce from party to party, but you immigrate and immigrate from population to population. There we go. That's a nice way of looking at it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So I've been waiting for answers. Hopefully you've sent some through. Ta,
I'll
nothing?
make sure that I'm still
just
looking,
look.
so I'm waiting for them. I'm thinking they're still pretty much typing away. So
I hope so, but I'm going to carry on. So hopefully you've done it. If I have a look, geometric graph pattern. Now, a geometric graph pattern is very cool. What happens is the organism reproduces by binary fission. There it is. Binary fission. There's a nice way. Or asexually by mitosis. Okay. Binary fission is, you know when a bacteria moves and makes two, okay? They make a little part of it and then it drops off, okay? That is binary fission. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but binary fission is one cell is making two, it's meiosis. Mitosis, not meiosis. It's mitosis. So that's what binary fission is, okay? Now, if you think about it, can you think of your bacteria? I've already told you. Your bacteria does it. Now, the one morning you feel perfectly fine. Later on in the day, you feel a little bit, right? Then all of a sudden, you are very sick, right? And it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And then it lasts for, let's say, 2 days, right? You go to the doctor, you get your tablets, you get your medication, and all of a sudden, the next morning you feel a lot better, and the next day even 10 times better, and then it's gone, okay? That is a geometric graph pattern, okay? We call it the J-shape graph, okay? A J-shaped graph, if we have a look at it, let's bring this down, okay? The growth pattern it expands quickly, right? And then when it gets to the top, reaches its climax, of course we take our medicine, and what does it do? It just drops, okay? That is a geometric, there we go, and I said to you it's a J-shape. Now, to prove to you what it looks like a J-shape, what I've done is I've made a graph that they could actually give to you. Geometric graph, there it is, okay? Don't forget the headings when you do graphs. Please don't forget your x-axis. X-axis is always this one. I'm just going to put an x there, and a y-axis is always this one, okay? Time and population. As you can see, the population increases nicely, but it goes fast, right? It goes fast, and then all of a sudden, if I look at it over here, let me get another pen because we're never going to see that. It goes over here, and when it gets to this part, it dies. It shoots all the way down, and then you don't finish your antibiotics. You know what happens when you don't finish your antibiotics? You get sick again, so it shoots up again, and then the doctor says that was very bad, and you get your antibiotics again, and you do it all the way down, and they're dead. Okay, they're completely wiped out. That is a geometric growth pattern. Okay, it's either called a geometric growth pattern or a geometric growth. This is called a graph. Geometric growth graph or geometric growth pattern. Okay, either one is acceptable. Okay, now the next one we have a look at is your logistic growth pattern or graph. Now, a geometric growth pattern or graph, okay, those ones is what we're trying to get at. This is the normal. You will get the geometric growth pattern in there. The logistic one has a bit of it in, okay? There's different phases. Now, remember what I said, I want you to get a population that actually goes up and down and is actually quite stable. This is the one we want. So, if I had a look at it, okay, it's also called, please write this down, guys, a sigmoid graph or a sigmoid growth pattern, okay? There it is. Make sure you write it down. Okay. The reason why they call it a sigmoid, because it also looks like an S. Okay. So you had your there it is. You had your geometric growth pattern, right, which was a J shape, and then you get your sigmoid, which is your S shape. Okay, nice and easy. Now, let's pull this down and let's have a look at this. There it is. Okay, now, if you had a look at that, okay, this is how this actually works. And I'm going to explain it to you in a few seconds, even more detail. But if you have a look at it, it increases nicely, and then it stabilizes, and then something happens. Okay, I know I've given you different phases, but just think about it again. Okay, there it goes, nice and slowly. Then it starts speeding up. Okay, it starts slowing down, goes up and down, and back down again. Now, why would it do that? Let's have a look. Okay, wrong way. Okay, logistic growth patterns. The first one, the lag phase. Okay, the lag phase is when a species has just been introduced to that area. Now remember, I said to you earlier that we stick a bunch of antelope, let's say springbuck, right? We put a bunch of springbuck in a park, and in the beginning, are they going to mate? No, the conditions aren't favorable yet. They need to find out where the food is. They need to find out where the water is. So nothing is going to happen. As soon as they start settling down, then what's going to happen? They are going to start increasing, or they're going to start mating. They're going to get their natality rate up. So, excuse me, starts off slowly, fewer individuals, and reproduction is going to start going, and it'll start increasing slowly and slowly. And don't forget that when they mate, you get a gestation period. So this buck is pregnant. Baby's there, but it's not counted yet. Okay? So it takes a while for that population to increase. Okay? Now, after that, you get the acceleration. Okay? Now, look here. This is the main thing I wanted to show you. Right, that with this part, okay, the acceleration or the geometric growth phase. The geometric growth phase is in the sigmoid graph. Okay, it's just that one pattern. Now, I'm going to show you again. Let me just pull this down, and you'll see it here. Hopefully, you can see it. This piece here is your one that we're talking about. Okay, that is where your J shape is going to go. Now, if you have a look at that, that's not curving so much, but it can actually go quite quickly. Now, this is the lag phase. Remember I told you the lag phase increases very slowly. This one increases a lot faster. So we've only looked at these two in particular. Okay, this one slows down. This one speeds up. Okay, now, if we look at the next one, the deceleration, that doesn't mean that they stop breeding. Okay, remember that all of a sudden we have 50 buck. We started off with 10, and now we've got 100 springbuck in this park, right? Now, remember that if we have 10 springbuck, we can hide from a lion. But the minute we've got 100, what's going to happen with a lion? They're going to see them and they're going to catch them. Okay, so now we've got mortality rate. Okay, so the mortality rate increases, but the natality rate is still higher than the mortality rate. Over here, the mortality rate is very low, so the natality rate is very high. So we're going to have a lot of babies, not a lot of deaths. This one, we're going to have a lot of deaths, but a hell of a lot more births. Okay, so the births here is very good, right? The births here is even better. The births here are very poor, but they are there. Okay, so that's those three. Okay, now, if I had a look at it, I've just changed it. You get the equilibrium phase. Equilibrium, you should know what equilibrium is. Okay, we need to get everything equal. And remember, I said to you, the mortality rate and the natality rate actually have to become equal. That doesn't mean that we're going to have 10 children and 10 are going to die. We could have 10 children and 9 are going to die. Then we're going to have 5 children, but 6 are going to die. not 6 children, but 6 other animals are going to die. So it works its way together, and it's quite nice. They work quite well together. Okay, so you get the equilibrium phase. Okay, and if you have a look at natality rate is now equal to the mortality rate. Okay, very important. Now that is this part over here that I was telling you about. This, let's change the color so we can actually see that I'm drawing on here. This piece here, so birth rate, death rate, birth rate, death rate, birth rate, death rate. Do you see how it's increasing in this one here, this line over here, by the way, okay, if you can see it, carrying capacity. Now your carrying capacity, remember I said to you that you've got this how much meat you can feed off this ground. Can you remember with the warthogs and the elephants and all of that, right? It's how much can survive. Now, if there was too many of those animals, right, what is going to happen? Not going to be enough food, so some are going to die out, right? Now, if they clean that whole ground out, there's going to be no food, so they're all going to die. Okay, so we need to keep them under the right numbers. So certain things would happen, like some of the water in this place is going to run out, but the water over there is going to survive. So a couple of animals from here are going to die of thirst. These ones are going to survive. So they'll die out, which decreases the population or the carrying how many animals there are. And then we give birth because those are happening, so it picks it up again. Okay. Funny thing is, you must look at the predators and the antelope. Okay. I'm just going to do this. This is quite nice. If I had the animals, the antelope doing this, right? If their overcarrying capacity goes like this, okay? What's nice is it actually happens exactly the same to the predators. So I can go along and do this, okay? This is going to be your buck, okay? There's your buck, and then of course I'm going to make the yellow the lion, okay? Very simple. As the buck increase, so do, and if you have a look at it, so do the predators. And then all of a sudden, the predators will start dropping, right? And when the predators get to a certain point, the bucks start increasing, then the predators start increasing, and then it goes down like that and up again. Now, watch carefully. Very nice to know that as soon as the buck are at its highest, what happens to the lions, or I'm going to say lions there, the lions' natality rate, okay? The more food there is, the happier they are. So if they're happy, what do? They breed. They make new lions, right? So the lions shoot up, okay? The minute the lions get to a nice high level, now we're eating too many buck to sustain these lions, right? So now the bucks start decreasing. When the bucks start decreasing, there's no more food for the lions. So what happens to the lion? They start dying, right? Then the lions go all the way back down. Because the lions are decreasing, the antelope start breeding again. They start going up. The lions see it, and they start going up. So they work together all the time. The more antelope there are, the more lions there are. Okay? The less antelope, the less lions. So if you if you go on to National Geographic or all these wild animal shows, right? You will always see the Serengeti lions or all these different lions, and you'll notice that they always show the struggling parts, because that is the most amazing part, is how they get through the struggles. And you will always see that 1 or 2 of the babies actually die. You will never see a whole pride of lions survive the whole bad season. Lions will die because there's not enough food. Okay, if it's not some of the babies, it's going to be the adults, because they're going to start taking chances to try and get bigger prey, which is going to injure them, so they are going to die. Okay, that's how it works. Best way I can put it. Okay, so this is a nice graph to actually have a look at. They can actually put this in an exam if they really wanted to, because this here can test your ability to find out how the why the antelope increases, and why all of a sudden do they start decreasing, and how do lions play a part in it. Okay, so that is a very nice thing that they can put in. It's a nice question. Okay, so don't forget it. You must always remember that you've got to actually put life signs together. You can't look at it as this happens and that happens. You must understand that they interlink with each other, because you will notice that they start decreasing, so their mortality rate increases while their natality rate is still increasing. Does that make sense? So the mortality and natality rate are both increasing, but on different animals. If that makes sense to you guys. So just keep it. Ta, any interesting questions that we have there?
So far, we have actually a couple, so I don't know how many do you want to tackle right now.
Well, let's do one at a time. Let's see what we can do.
All right. Well, basically, I've got one from Morgan. She wanted to find out, with regards to geometric growth pattern, what caused the sudden drop in population size? Then I saw the increase again, and she wants to find out how come. Isn't the environment then resistant?
Okay, let's go back to that, and I'll show you what's going on there. One more, I think. That one, yeah. There we go. You're talking about this. Now, if we have a look at it, sorry. You were saying that you saw it rise up. What color do I have? Let's go pink again. You tell me that it's rising up, okay? Then it drops. That's not pink. That's pink. It goes up. Then you say it drops. And then you ask me, why does it rise again? Does it become resistant? That was very good. Very, very, very good. And I did that one, especially this one, for a reason, okay? You told me the exact thing that I want to hear is, as it drops, okay, we stopped taking our antibiotics, right? Now remember, if we stop taking our antibiotics, we start getting this bacteria starts becoming immune to our antibiotics, right? So it becomes drug resistant. You're absolutely right. So we can take that same antibiotics, but the problem is it doesn't become drug resistant just in your body. So you might be able to take that same antibiotic and it will kill it immediately, okay? So you can take that antibiotic. The problem is, the biggest problem is that when you stop taking your antibiotics, right, and this one here survives, okay, and we cough or we sneeze and we spread it to somebody else, okay, they go live and they start going into another body, right? And they start producing, and one of theirs start producing, but they still remember you using antibiotics. So they're building themselves up, making each other stronger and stronger. It doesn't mean that they become drug resistant immediately. It takes quite a long time. But that is why you got to go for your flu injection every year, because people don't take all their antibiotics, which stops it from happening. Okay? I hope that's answered your question. So please don't forget the curve. Okay? It might drop and it can come up again. But if I took a stronger antibiotic, it would die immediately. Okay? But Ta?
I think that should answer it.
Will that answer it? What else? What else do we have before I go on to the next section?
We had another one from Kotatsu. She wanted to find out, what are the limiting factors that may inhibit population growth? I know we might have covered it, but I think she just wanted a bit more clarity.
Read it again to me, if you don't mind.
What are the limiting factors that may, I think maybe instead of inhabit population growth, I think she made inhibit population increase.
Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that question for a reason. Okay, I'm not going to answer your question, but I want you to listen. Okay, because I'm going to answer it, but I'm not going to answer it immediately. Okay, is there another question?
But for now, I think that's about all of them.
Okay, well then, let's go to your question. Okay, before we get to your question, I know we're going to go for a break for 2 seconds. Oh, okay. If you have a look at it, let me go back. Things that will inhibit this whole thing would be your climate. So you got your climatic factors, so whether there's drought, things like that. So you got your drought, your heat, your cold. Don't forget about your big things, your abiotic factors, like your earthquakes and things like that. So that's what inhibit the increase and decrease in the population. Okay, enjoy. Ta?
All right.
I think it's time.
Wow, that was a lot of information. Actually, I was actually pretty interested. This was a lot of information that I actually enjoyed myself. But anyway, mindset is I keep saying, make sure you keep posting your questions on the page and help each other out. And to the regular guys who are on the page all the time, I just want to say hi. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well, prepping for those exams. And guys, I just want to wish you all the best. And I cannot stress again, keep using the page, talk to each other, talk to each other. But this is where me and Lou sign off and say see you next time.